Welcome to the Fit Dad Nation podcast, forging strong fathers and raising a stronger generation. It's time to get up or shut up with your host, Steve Roy.
Hey guys, Steve Roy here, host of the Fit Dad Nation podcast. Welcome to the show. Thanks for listening. It's been a couple weeks since I have published an episode. To be honest with you, I did record an episode about 2 weeks ago. I was going through a really tough time and shared some of my struggles. Listened to it a few times and decided that I didn't want to put it out there. To me, honestly, it came across kind of a little bit, I won't say whiny, but I don't want to put it out there if it feels like I'm just complaining about what I'm going through. But today I want to share some of the struggles that I have been going through for the last couple months, but I want to do it in a way that is going to help you, not necessarily it's going to bum you out. And I was in a different place a few weeks ago mentally. Since then, I've made a few changes, and things are really looking up for me on a couple of different fronts. So this is a little more positive outlook here, and I'm sure it'll come across in the show. So, I'll first say that I guess January 3rd, that's the date. January 3rd, and I've shared this before. I tore my ligament in my left foot playing pickleball, which really just rocked my world. I was playing 3+ hours a day, 6 days a week, really into it, starting to get competitive, and I absolutely just love the sport. So if any of you ever played, you know that it's highly addicting. And, I had a bunch of courts I was playing at. I made a bunch of friends. I mean, it was a great outlet for me. And then I got hurt, tore the ligament, down and out. Couldn't walk on it, couldn't do anything. Wore a boot. Just until a couple weeks ago, I was wearing the boot almost every day, big old boot. Was very immobile. And within, I say probably about a month of doing nothing, active-wise, I really just got into a kind of a shitty mental frame. I was definitely down on myself. I was kind of coping with it through eating. So I literally would spend all day working, on the computer, but sitting. So movement was pretty much out, and my motivation was way down because big part of my life was pickleball. That was gone, at least for the foreseeable future. And I didn't want to do shit. Like, I didn't feel like doing anything. I didn't feel like trying to figure out, well, how do I keep active? How do I keep doing exercise, given the fact that, I can only really stand on one leg. And so I just kind of gave up. And obviously it wasn't a good thing for me. I ended up putting on 10, 15 pounds probably in the 6 weeks or so right after the injury. And, there's no excuse. I mean, it's 100% on me. I just wanted to withdraw. I was so bummed out. I was so upset because it was such a big part of my life. And it was really something I look forward to every day. And that was gone. There was nothing I could do about it. This injury is not an injury I could work around. I've been injured before. Years ago, I blew out my rotator cuff and ended up spending a whole year training legs really, really hard, and subsequently got into really good shape as far as my lower body had. My legs were the strongest they ever were. And so, I was able to do that. But now, really, when you have an injury like this, you can't do much, as far as movement. Like, any walking was bad. Even in the boot, putting pressure on my foot was painful and counterproductive, right? You're just inflaming the ligament, the tissue. So I was just sitting on my ass and stopped really creating content, stopped really kind of doing much of anything productive anyway. And I guess maybe you would say started feeling sorry for myself in a way, but just said fuck it and didn't want to do shit. And I think really a lot of you guys can resonate with that, because whether it's an injury or something else that sidetracks you, puts you down, could be a financial stress or a change in your environment or relationship or whatever, there's going to be something big that comes up that puts you on your ass. And your first reaction is withdraw, to shut down, to give up. because you're like, fuck this. And so that's kind of why I'm sharing this. And so I was really going down a kind of a shitty path. And after about 6 weeks of this, which would put me, at the middle of February, so just a few weeks ago, man, I was not sleeping well at all. Like, my diet had gone to hell. I mean, I didn't give a fuck. I was eating whatever I wanted to, drinking sodas, just eating McDonald's, and yeah, I felt horrible. So obviously I put on some weight and some fat, and I started noticing a lot of changes in my body, not for the better. But more importantly, what I really noticed was how shitty I felt. I mean, I literally felt awful all the time. I had no energy. And I just almost felt powerless, even though I know I wasn't, to stop it, because it was just like this cycle of getting up and looking forward to that. I'm drinking C4 for a pre-workout, which is my replacement for coffee. I don't drink coffee. So that would be I'd look forward to that, and whatever it was for breakfast, whether it was a breakfast sandwich, whether it was a couple donuts, whatever it is, that would be my, short-term high. And then I'd, go right back into that low. And then for lunch, it would be a Big Mac meal or whatever, go back into a low. Same thing for dinner. And this just happened for 6 weeks. And after 6 weeks, like, I just noticed, like, how crappy my body felt. Like, I just was run down all the time. And I think one of the biggest things I noticed was how poorly I was sleeping. So as soon as I laid down and had to go to sleep, I'd get really bad heartburn. And I think that's from the soda. But I ended up going through like a bottle of Tums over the course of like 3 weeks, because I was popping them so much because I couldn't sleep because of this heartburn was just killing me. And I know it was just the fact that one of the soda, the acid in the soda, but also being overstuffed all the time. So I just noticed that one of the things I was doing was constantly eating. I was constantly feeding myself. So I was never like in a fasted state at all. I had food in me, so it was like food on top of food on top of food in my system. And I feel like maybe it was just coming back up through, my esophagus, and I could feel it just there, like this rock in my stomach and all the way up through my chest. And again, totally within my control to stop, to change it. But when you're in a spot, I know a lot of you guys can understand this, is when you're in a bad spot mentally, it's hard to get out. So again, I hate to make excuses, because we all know that it's just literally one decision away, right? You choose to make a decision and you can change it, right? But sometimes you're not there yet mentally. And I wasn't there. I wasn't ready to give up. Even though I felt terrible, sleeping terrible, I wasn't ready to give up this. I don't even know, what do you want to call it? It was like this high for me, being able to just kind of eat what I wanted and not give a shit about any of that stuff, knowing full well that it was affecting everything. And, I knew it was temporary. I've been through this stuff before after my divorce and some other times, and I've shared my stories before. And so I finally, it was starting to come towards March, and I was just feeling like absolute ass. And I started posting in the groups and kind of getting some ideas for new challenges. And, I had this thought of, let's make a change here. And I know a lot of guys are in the similar situation where you're kind of stuck in a rut, or you're down, you're in a plateau, you haven't gotten started this year. I've seen a lot of that actually in the groups. A lot of guys are just struggling. And so I decided to start a challenge called One Day Better, which, the whole goal isn't to revamp your entire body, get down to 8% body fat, and change your diet radically. We're not trying to overhaul our lives here. We're trying to get one day better, and that's by small steps. And so what I did was I put together a challenge, I won't say mostly, but in part for myself. I know I need to do this challenge for myself, and I wanted to lead by example, because I'd been a shitty role model for my guys, for everybody in my life, just the way I've let myself go, even in this short time. It's just, I just didn't feel good about it at all. I started to feel like a phony. And so I stopped, really posting much on social media, because I just felt like, well, if I can't even live this shit, why am I going to talk about it? It's not right. So that really slowed down and business slowed down. And so when we started this challenge, I said, all right, we're going to do 4 things here. We're going to change our diet a little bit. We're not going to go crazy with it. We're not going to go paleo. We're not going to go keto. We're not going to do any of that shit. We're not going to be fasting. What we're going to do is we're going to take soda out of the equation. We're going to take fast food out of the equation. And that's, it's an issue for a lot of us. Not everybody. I know everybody doesn't eat that stuff, but a lot of us still do. And I was at the time. Those 2 things removed from your diet, you've got to find something else in its place. And that's a win. Second piece was exercise. I had pretty much stopped training for that whole period of time. Obviously, I couldn't do much with my lower body, but I certainly could have done plenty with my upper body. Obviously, I do this for a living, so I know how to find alternatives, but I didn't do it. I just didn't do it. So I said, let's spend 10 to 15 minutes a day doing a handful of exercises, just body weight stuff. So no excuses, push-ups and planks, stuff like that, just to get your body used to moving. So I've been doing that. And then a little bit of mental toughness, doing a cold shower every day, a couple minutes, which absolutely sucks. And then getting up 30 minutes earlier than you would have normally to get maybe 1 extra thing, 2 extra things done. So those four small things are what we're doing here actually we're in the middle of the challenge right now. We're 8 days into it. And honestly, I feel really good. So I started it and I have not missed a day with any of those things. And again, these aren't anything super crazy, but those small changes have actually made a big difference. Not only in how I feel, but I've already noticed, a few pounds that I've lost. And honestly, one of the biggest wake up calls for me, and this may be similar for you guys, but if you've been a while since you've been on a scale, I'm not a big fan of judging your health by a number on a scale. I don't think that that's a great indicator, but I know my body extremely well, and I know that when I'm 200 pounds, I'm a fat piece of shit. And I was 200 pounds and some change, and that's not a number I ever wanted to see on the scale. I'm about 6 feet tall. My good walk around weight is about 180, 175. That's when I feel good, feel best. So just imagine 20 extra pounds of fat. That's where I was. So not feeling great, and that's one of the things that really prompted me. And I wanted to kind of go through this, is why I'm sharing this with you all, is because I want you all to understand that life is going to take you down at some point. I honestly believe that no one is protected at all times from just getting sucked into a black hole and wanting to say fuck it and just eat like shit, forget your training. And it happens a lot more than you would think for a lot of reasons, but as busy dads, with busy lives, families, careers, we have all kinds of obligations and stress. So many. And it doesn't take much. It could just be one small thing that just sets you off and stresses you out. And what do you want to do when you get stressed out? You want to blow off that stress. And a lot of guys turn to either alcohol or to food. And we know what happens when you start doing that. It just starts another crappy cycle. And I want you guys to understand that this is part of life. This doesn't make you weak. It doesn't make you a quitter, a failure, any of that stuff. I don't know any men. I can't think of any guys I know personally or coached personally over the years, many years. I've been doing this forever, that haven't gone through this. Very few of us, are going to be like a David Goggins type of personality, where in the face of adversity, you rise and you just push, and you never yield, right? That's just not realistic for 99 point whatever percentage of us. It's just not how it is. Sure, there are those guys, and good for you. That's awesome. The guy's a freaking machine, of course, but for the most part, we're regular dads with busy lives, and shit's flying at us from all areas and at all times, and it's going to take us down sometimes. It will take us down, and I wanted to share this because I do this for a living. I know exactly what I need to do to stay in shape and to eat healthy, and what my body needs for calories and training and all that stuff. Yet I still chose not to do any of it, and instead chose to do what I actually speak out against, which is eat like a fucking asshole and sit on your ass, right? And that's obviously a couple of the worst things you can do as far as your health, but that's exactly what I was doing. And now I've stopped. And so for you to recognize that in your life, where maybe you're going through something like that, just recognize that shit, this is a temporary thing. You're going to be down and out for a while. That's okay. As long as you know that you're going to come out on the other side and you're going to get back into it, right? And that's what it's all about, is you're not going to stay consistent for your entire life. You're not going to be training 5 days a week and eating a really high quality diet 24/7, 365, right, for the rest of your life. It's not realistic. For the vast majority of us, not realistic. So just recognize the fact that if someone like me who does this for a living, this is all I do for a living, I've been doing this for a long time, can get sucked into something like this from an injury, right, and go down this hole. It happens to a lot of other guys for other reasons, and for the guys that are listening that you don't really know that much about fitness, like you probably, would struggle to put together a program for yourself or really figure out, well, what should I be eating? How many calories should I be eating? Like, what makes the most sense for me? And so there's a lot of confusion. A lot of guys don't really know their bodies that well, and that's okay, but it's a lot easier to fall into traps when you're there instead of where I am, but it's still happening to me. So please understand this, guys, is, I'm a regular guy like you, and this shit is going to happen. And I hope that you're not there right now, but if you are, do something. It's kind of the takeaway here is just start doing something like I did with these guys, my guys in our Inner Circle program. I took 4 small things like I mentioned earlier, and that's all we're doing. We're checking a box every day. We're logging in for accountability so we know what we're putting in the work. And it's 4 small things. It doesn't take any effort to not have soda or fast food. It takes very little effort to work out for 10 to 15 minutes a day. It takes not much to get up 30 minutes early. It's not awesome, but, especially for those guys who struggle with sleep. And then the cold showers, it's 2, we're doing 3 minutes. Yeah, 3 minutes of agony. It fucking sucks. It's cold as shit. It's miserable. You're going to freeze your nuts off, but who fucking cares, right? The point of it isn't to freeze your ass off. I mean, yes, there are benefits with cold water, but the big takeaway and what I intended it as was a mental toughness challenge, because nobody in their right mind wants to take a freezing cold shower. It just sucks, right? We're accustomed to, taking hot showers and being comfortable, and this makes us get uncomfortable. This is testing your will to say, you know what? I know this is going to suck, but I'm going to do it anyway. So whatever that looks like for you, whether it's a cold shower, whether it's something else that you don't want to do, but will help you, do it. Just one thing, right? And again, when I shot this show a couple weeks ago, I kind of shared the same message, but I was in a different place mentally, and it was definitely not as kind of upbeat and positive I'm trying to put a spin on this show today. So I don't want to bum you guys out and be all negative and shit. It's just, I don't need necessarily to share that, but I wanted to share the same message with you. And please just, that I'm going to leave you with this, guys. When you find yourself in that place, in that dark place, just remember it's a temporary thing. And all you have to do is just make a decision, as hard as it is, to just do one thing. Just try to do one thing that's going to improve your life and build on that. And that will get you back there. And that's my goal. Again, I've only been at this for 8 days now, this simple program, this simple challenge. And I honestly feel 10 times better. I'm not trying to build this up or sell you anything or pitch you on a challenge or whatever. I'm just saying I honestly, legitimately feel 10 times better just in 8 days doing these few small things, a few small tweaks. I'm sleeping better. The Tums, I haven't even had Tums since I started. And I just feel good, right? I've replaced all my soda with water, still drinking the C4, no more junk food, no more fast food. I've no more Fig Newtons and Oreos that have been sitting in the cabinet. I'm just eating better foods, a lot of lean meats, eggs, bacon, fruits and vegetables, and that's it. And yeah, it just in that short amount of time, I feel way, way better, and the same could happen for you guys, just, one thing at a time. If you guys need any help at all, anything at all, please reach out to me at any time. I'm happy to steer you in the right direction. Steve@fitdeadnation.com. I will talk to you next time.
Thanks for joining us. And remember, if you want more information, check out the Fit Dad Basecamp group on Facebook. And don't forget to stop by fitdadnation.com. Until next time, keep kicking ass and taking the next step. You can do this, Dad.